Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to be doing this look while I talk about my latest obsession, which is Genshin Impact. It's a free-to-play game on PC, mobile, PlayStation 4. I think it's coming to Switch soon. And I just really like talking about it, of course. If you ask anyone in my family, my mom, my dad, my sister, you know that I cannot shut up about this game. And so I thought I would just make this fun video where I do my makeup and tell everyone else about it too. So I hope you enjoy, and let's get started. I'm gonna get started and just try to explain the plot, which I still don't entirely understand. So the game starts out with these two siblings and they're fighting a god, and then what happens is basically the god sort of banishes them to another world, and you pick one of the siblings, and basically your quest is to find your other sibling. And so when you get to this new world, the first place you kind of show up to is this town called Mondstadt, and when you're there, you learn that there are people with these elemental powers called visions that are basically gifts from the gods, and so each area in this game is ruled by a different god. So Mondstadt is ruled by the Anemo Archon, which is the god of air, basically. And so when you're there, you're, looking for your brother or your sister, and you find out that Mondstadt has been dealing with these crazy storms lately, and you team up with the Knights of Favonius, which are kind of the protectors of Mondstadt. And when you're teamed up with the Knights of Favonius, you figure out that there's this big dragon, essentially, that's causing all these storms. So you team up with this local bard named Venti, and you go to hunt down this dragon, and it turns out that Venti is actually the Anemo Archon. And so you kind of defeat this dragon. Oh, also during all this, there's this weird group of people from another place called Shesnaya, called the Fatui, that are there just like trying to cause problems. After you defeat the dragon, you move on to the next city over, which is a harbor town called Liyue, which is the land of Geo. Everything there is all about business and contracts and stuff. So you're in Liyue, and what's happening is the Geo Archon is supposed to come down to kind of visit, and the Geo Archon takes the shape of a dragon, and when the ceremony for the Geo Archon to descend is trying to happen, the dragon shows up dead. So the god is dead, and the officials of Liyue are trying to figure out who killed him. The town of Liyue has its own kind of protectors, like Knights of Favonius style, called the Millelith. The Millelith are hunting down everyone who was around when the Geo Archon showed up dead, which includes you. So you get rescued by this Fatui guy named Child, and he gives you a sigil of permission, which basically allows you to go visit the Liyue Adepti, which are they're not gods, but they're like people with a lot of power who are sworn to protect Liyue. And so you go to visit the Adepti, and they're like, well, no human person could kill the Geo Archon. And so you go back to Liyue, basically with their blessing, so now the Millelith won't hunt you down and assume you're the killer. And when you're back in Liyue, you start preparing for essentially the god's funeral. You team up with the owner type guy of the local funeral parlor, whose name is Zhongli, and you do all these kind of quests to get all this stuff ready, but there's something else going on. There's something that's kind of suspicious going on. While you're talking to the officials of Liyue, you learn where they're keeping the body, the dragon body, and you have some suspicions that the Fatui are trying to get to it. So you go and try and find it, and when you find it, Child shows up behind you, and he's like, I'm going to steal the Geo Archon's power from his body. And he goes to grab it, and it's not there. So he is like, what the hell did you do? You took it. We didn't take it. Anyway, Child's just pissed at you now, and so he proceeds to kick your ass, and then he reveals that he's been trying to raise a god from the harbor in Liyue, and so he does that, and you team up with all of these Liyue officials and the Adepti to defeat it, and then you go to see Zhongli, and you figure out, he's actually the Geo Archon, and so you figure out that he actually did have something to do with the Fatui. He was trading his power to the Fatui for some reason. He didn't want to be a god anymore, and so he just gave up. And that's kind of where the game has ended so far. Obviously, that's only 2 worlds or 2 places that you've traveled to, and there's going to be a total of at least 7. So anyway, the plot is kind of convoluted, but I'd say that the actual gameplay is the best part of the game. It is a gacha game, so that's kind of frustrating because I have already spent like almost $70 and I haven't gotten a single character I want. Okay, why isn't this blending properly? So the gacha system uses primo gems, which you can get pretty easily in the game through opening chests and completing quests and stuff, completing like daily activities. But you need 160 to pull one time. The rate for getting like a 5-star character, which is the highest ranked character in the game, is like 0.6%. So the rates are kind of stupid. However, you can play totally free and still have a really good time. It is like a open world game. You get a lot of characters just kind of given to you through just the actual story of the game. And there are events all the time where you can get more. I don't know why. I'm sweating, so it's not blending on my forehead like at all. So that's cool. So every day there's daily quests you can do. And the longer you play the game, actually the harder it gets, which is kind of fun. And once again, like an open world game, I just really like open world games. And you can co-op with people. So I have co-opted with my friends to beat boss characters and stuff. And also just the characters in it are really cute. I really like the siblings you get to pick from at the beginning of the game. One of the characters you get just playing the base story of the game is Kaya. And he's really cute. He's like my favorite, actually. And so many people kind of rag on him because they're like, oh, he's not that good. Like, he's not a good fighter or anything. I don't know. Maybe you guys just suck because I have him like maxed out on like 3-star traveling doctor artifacts, and he has like a 4-star weapon, and he does like the most damage in my team. You just gotta level up his talents a bit. Another thing is using him with elemental reactions. So on my team, I also have Fischl, Mona, and Jiangling. And with Fischl, I use Kaya to like freeze them, and then Fischl will electrocute them, and then that causes superconduct and does a lot of damage. Or I use Mona to make them all wet, and then I use Kaya to freeze them, and then that just does like, you can just do a whole bunch of damage really quick. And then with Jiangling, you just use the melt elemental reaction, and that also does a lot of damage. So that's something. Why is this eyebrow look way up here? That's another thing that I think people fail to consider is like, you have to build your team with good elemental reactions. Just because Kaya may not be like the absolute best character, he's really good as like support for other characters. And also, a lot of people just kind of rag on him for, they call him a himbo, which I don't understand, because he's not stupid at all. He's actually really clever. And like, if you play the game, you know that. Like, the one quest that you play with him, like, he basically tricks you into kind of doing his dirty work because he doesn't want to be found out. And he's just overall really charming and cute. And I'm like, listen, just because he's hot and respects women doesn't make him a himbo. I need to pull up like the himbo Venn diagram or something, because I think hot and respects women is like a hunk or just a decent man. I can't remember. But it's not a himbo, because you gotta be stupid to be a himbo. Anyways, and so I just think Kaya gets a lot of really unnecessary hate. I just like him a lot. In fact, today, for my eyes, I'm going to be using the Revolution Forever Flawless Ice palette, because Kaya is a cryo or ice type character. So I also have Fischl on my team, and I really like her, except right now there's like this event going on where you kind of team up with her to like do stuff. There's meteorites falling from the sky. But anyways, you team up with her, and she's so annoying. And I think it's really unfortunate because I used to really like her. And now I'm like, oh my god, can you shut up for like 3 seconds of your life? She does a lot of damage as well, just as like a playable character. And one of her elemental attacks is basically just sending out her raven named Oz. And he just shoots like electro energy at your enemies and electrocutes them. It does a lot of damage, and it's great because you can pull that out and then switch to a different character to do more damage. Also in this event, Mona plays a very big role. And I have her in my party as well. And I love her because she's just a little astrologer baby. She's a little witch. She's the only 5-star character I have. Even though, yes, I have spent nearly $70 on this game. On this free game. Anyways. And so I really like her. She's really cute. She's broke and she has straight bangs. So, big mood. The last character I have on my main team is Xiangling, and she's just a cute little chef from the UA. And she has a little panda named Guoba. He's one of her elemental attacks, and basically what she does is she throws him out onto the battlefield, and he eats a little chili pepper, and then breathes fire, which is just so cute. And it's similar to Official's Oz, where you can kind of throw him out and then switch characters to do different attacks, and he just kind of stays there doing damage for as long as he stays out. And I love her so much. I just think she's so cute. And she has a little quest in the game as well. And you just help her find ingredients, because she just wants to cook stuff. She's a little chef. So she's really cute. Also, you can get her for free if you do the Spiral Abyss, which is this other thing in the game, which is basically just like a challenge. So since Genshin Impact is a gacha game, you basically spend your in-game currency to get like a surprise box. So you don't know what you're gonna get. And you kind of just gotta hope you get the character you want. 9 times out of 10 you're gonna get a weapon that's entirely useless to you. So, back in October, they announced that they were going to be adding Zhongli as a playable character. He was going to be a 5-star character, so it was going to be really hard to get. And I didn't want to spend any more money on this game. So I just started saving my Primo Gems, which are what you use to get these surprise boxes. And I have nearly 14,000 now. And that's just from getting the free ones that you get in-game. And I got the Blessing of the Welkin Moon, which is something you have to pay for. It's $7, but you get 300 right away. And then you get 90 every day for 30 days. So that's a good way to save up. So between all the Primo Gems I have and like the other, there's like wishes that you can save up, I hopefully have enough to get Zhongli at least through like pity. Like if you don't pull a 5-star character to a certain amount of pulls, they just give you one. So I'm like, please give him to me. I want him so bad. I think it's just like a really fun game. Once again, I just really like open world games like Final Fantasy 15, Breath of the Wild. Those are all kind of favorites of mine. I like just being able to run around and swing a sword. You know, I wish there were more games where the whole point was just run around and swing your sword. Genshin Impact gets compared a lot to Breath of the Wild, which is valid. I mean, they look the exact same. One time I was playing it and my dad came downstairs on his lunch break from work and he was like, "Oh, is that Link?" And I'm like, it may as well be. It's basically just Chinese bootleg Breath of the Wild, but it's so fun. And since there's stuff to do every day, I've been playing it every day since like mid-October. Although I recommend it to people who don't like gacha games too, because once again, you can be free to play and still have a lot of fun with it because it doesn't play like a gacha game. It's not like Love Live or something where like the whole point is you do your little and then you get the pretty girls. This is more like, oh, it's an adventure game and you can have a different experience the more you pay, but it's not a pay to win kind of deal. I already feel like I've talked entirely too much, so I'm just gonna finish up my makeup and then come back for the outro. Okay, so this is the finished look. I just threw on some little snowflakes on my eyes, just a white eyeliner, and a little skinny little black wing, some mascara, put a little bit of white on my lower lashes, and just a nude lipstick. I hope you enjoyed today's video. It was really fun. I have a feeling it's going to be really long, but I hope to do more videos like this in the future. So thank you for watching. Bye.